Sister Wives star Meri Brown has a new man, Ron. Some big information about him has been leaked. There is a lot to unfold and uncover when it comes to this. However, fans have been dying to know more information about her new boyfriend. It seems like fans will be seeing a lot of him when it comes to the next season of Sister Wives. Keep reading to find out more about this situation. Meri Brown leaves marriage, spiritually divorced. Meri Brown was married to Kody Brown for a long time. She was the first wife in the relationship. However, the two went through a lot of hard times together. There was the catfish scandal that almost ruined their relationship. However, Meri ended up leaving shortly after Janelle and Christine did. She also got spiritually divorced from Kody, which is something neither Janelle nor Christine did. However, she had a fling with the guy until people realized he was not who he seemed to be. Since then, she has not been dating a lot. However, that has changed now that she may have a new beau. Big info leaked about her new man, Ron. Meri Brown was seen speed dating in the preview for the next season of Sister Wives. However, Ron, the guy who was seen in the preview, may stick around for longer than people thought. Sarah Fraser spoke on this. "We're going to be seeing a fair amount of Ron." She then goes into what people know about him. Well, he's reportedly from around the Salt Lake City area. They met at the speed dating event, and I believe that's actually true. We are going to see him on multiple episodes. He apparently is a business owner. She also said he was divorced 4 years ago. Sarah has also heard that Meri is into Ron greatly. However, it is unknown if they are still together, but if they are taking it slow. It seems as though the two could still be an item. However, they want to take things slow due to their past relationships. Fans would love to see Meri in a new relationship since her one with Kody did not work out. They love seeing Christine with David, so this could be the new relationship fans love watching. However, no one is going to know much more about him until they watch him on Sister Wives. What do you think about this? Do you think they could make a good match? Sound off in the comments below. We would love to hear your thoughts on this situation. For years, viewers of Sister Wives have watched Meri Brown weather storms that few could survive in the public eye. From the painful unraveling of her marriage to Kody Brown, to her lonely battles with identity, business ventures, and endless speculation, Meri's story has been one of both heartbreak and resilience. But now, in 2025, the tide has turned. A new chapter has begun for Meri, and it has a name: Ron. Leaked whispers, fan speculation, and subtle social media breadcrumbs have ignited a wildfire of curiosity. Who is Ron, the man who seems to have captured Meri's heart? And perhaps more importantly, how did he arrive at exactly the right moment to help her finally step out of the shadow of her former life? This is the inside story of Meri Brown's new romance, the mystery of Ron, and why this relationship feels unlike anything we've seen from the Sister Wives star before. The silence after the storm. Meri Brown's departure from her marriage wasn't just a divorce, it was a seismic shift in the Sister Wives universe. Fans saw her as the quiet, loyal wife, often relegated to the margins of the sprawling Brown family drama. But as each season unfolded, the cracks widened. Kody grew distant, the other wives forged new paths, and Meri, once a central figure in the experiment of plural marriage, seemed left behind, both emotionally and physically. When she confirmed her split with Kody, audiences expected Meri to crumble. Instead, she went silent. That silence was powerful. She stopped explaining herself. She stopped chasing validation from a man who had already dismissed her. Instead, she turned inward, focusing on her bed and breakfast in Utah, building her online business, and traveling more freely. And while her Instagram captions remained vague, eagle-eyed fans began noticing a new energy in her smile. Something or someone had changed. The first whispers of Ron came not from a tabloid, but from Meri's own hand. On a crisp evening, Meri posted a picture of herself laughing at what appeared to be a small outdoor gathering. Tucked in the frame was a man. Broad-shouldered, salt and pepper hair with a kind of easy smile that suggested comfort rather than performance. Fans immediately zoomed in. Who was he? Why was Meri leaning toward him instead of away, as she so often did in staged family photos? She didn't confirm anything, but then came the slip, an offhand comment during one of her Fridays with Friends live streams. Someone asked if she was dating. Meri laughed, shook her head, and then said, "Well, I don't know if I'd call it dating. I just know I'm spending time with someone who makes me laugh, and that's enough for me right now." The fandom exploded. Ron had entered the chat. Who is Ron? What we know about Ron is limited, but the puzzle pieces are forming. Sources close to Meri have described him as a grounded, hardworking man with roots outside of reality TV. Unlike the spotlight-driven dynamics of the Brown family, Ron is said to prefer privacy. He's not a polygamist. He's not tied to TLC contracts. He's not chasing fame. Instead, Ron is rumored to be a businessman with ties to Utah and Arizona. Friends describe him as warm, practical, and surprisingly funny, a contrast to the often stoic energy fans associated with Meri's former marriage. What makes Ron stand out, however, isn't his resume. It's the way he treats Meri. According to one insider, Ron doesn't see Meri as a reality star. He sees her as a woman who's been through a lot and still manages to laugh. He admires that strength, and he doesn't play games with her. For Meri, who spent decades navigating the uneven terrain of plural marriage, that simplicity may be exactly what she needed. Why Ron matters. This isn't just about romance. It's about transformation. Meri's fans have long begged her to step into her own power, to stop clinging to the Brown family structure that often left her feeling isolated. With Ron, she seems to be doing just that. Gone are the Instagram posts filled with cryptic sadness. Instead, we see hiking trails, genuine laughter, and new business adventures. At events, Meri glows in a way that fans say feels different, less forced, more natural. Even her fashion has shifted. Where once she wore muted colors, lately Meri has leaned into bold patterns, bright scarves, and confident stances. A new man doesn't always mean a new woman, but in this case, it seems Ron has helped her remember the woman she already was. The family's reaction. The Brown family is nothing if not complicated, and Ron's presence, though not officially addressed on Sister Wives, hasn't gone unnoticed. Christine, now happily married to David Woolley, is said to be thrilled for Meri. She deserves joy, Christine reportedly told a friend, adding that she hoped Meri could finally experience the kind of partnership she herself had found after leaving Kody. Janelle, practical as ever, has kept her comments to a minimum, but has expressed support from Meri's independence. Robyn and Kody, however, have been quieter. TLC insiders claim that Ron's existence was a surprise to them and may even shift future storylines of the show. For a man who seems to want no part in reality TV, Ron's very presence may alter the trajectory of Sister Wives in ways fans can only guess. What this means for Sister Wives. For years, the show thrived on the tension between Kody and his wives, the crumbling of plural marriage, and the fallout of betrayal. But Meri's storyline had grown stagnant, defined more by waiting than by living. Now, with Ron, there's a spark of unpredictability. Will TLC lean into Meri's new romance? Will Ron make an appearance? Or will he remain the unseen figure behind her smile? Could his presence inspire new chapters that move beyond the Brown family's original framework? Fans are divided. Some want Meri to keep her relationship private, away from the cameras that have already dissected so much of her life. Others crave a front-row seat to her rebirth. Either way, Ron has changed the script. A love that looks different. What makes this relationship so compelling isn't the drama, it's the lack of it. Meri's history has been filled with chaos, from the infamous catfishing scandal to years of emotional distance in her marriage. But with Ron, the story seems refreshingly simple. Dinner dates instead of family councils, laughter instead of arguments, partnership instead of hierarchy. For fans who have rooted for Meri since the beginning, it feels like a victory not just for her, but for every viewer who has ever felt unseen in their own life. The symbolism of moving on. At its core, Meri's new romance is more than just love, it's about closure. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting the past, it means refusing to let it define the future. By stepping into a relationship with Ron, Meri is sending a message that she is not tethered to the mistakes, the heartbreak, or the neglect that marked so much of her marriage. Instead, she's choosing joy. She's choosing herself. And in doing so, she is rewriting her narrative before the eyes of millions. What's next for Meri and Ron? Where does this go? That's the million-dollar question. Some fans speculate marriage could be on the horizon. Others believe Meri, cautious after everything, may take her time. What's clear is that Ron represents stability, and Meri seems in no rush to broadcast every detail. For now, their story lives in the quiet moments, road trips, small gatherings, laughter caught on camera by accident rather than by design. And perhaps that's the truest measure of love. Not how loudly it announces itself, but how softly it makes someone feel at home. Meri's new era. For over a decade, Meri Brown's story has been one of longing, resilience, and heartbreak. But with Ron, she has stepped into a new era. This isn't just a rebound. It's not a plot twist for ratings. It's a woman finally allowing herself to live on her own terms. The world may still have questions about Ron, his background, his intentions, his role in the ever-expanding sister-wife saga, but for Meri, the only question that matters is simple. Does he make her happy? And by the looks of things, the answer is yes. For over a decade, Meri Brown's life has played out under the harshest of spotlights. As one of the original wives in TLC's Sister Wives, she's endured the ups and downs of a marriage that seemed destined to crumble, the pain of public judgment, and the loneliness of being trapped in a relationship long past its expiration date. Fans wept for her, cheered for her resilience, and begged her to walk away. Now, finally, she has. But Meri hasn't just walked away. She's walked toward something, or rather, someone. That someone is Ron, the man who has sparked whispers, leaks, and the tidal wave of fan intrigue. Who is he? Where did he come from? And why does Meri seem happier, freer, and more radiant than ever before? Grab your coffee because this isn't just a story about a new romance. This is the rebirth of Meri Brown. The wounds that shaped her. To understand why Ron matters so much, you have to understand where Meri has been. When Sister Wives first premiered in 2010, Meri was introduced as Kody Brown's first wife, the legal anchor of the family. Back then, she was often described as his rock, the steady presence who supported his dreams of expanding their family. But as seasons went on, the cracks formed. Meri only had one child, Leon, while the other wives continued to add to the family. She began to feel isolated, less central, almost peripheral in her own marriage. Then came the infamous catfishing scandal, an online relationship that Meri thought was with the man, but turned out to be something else entirely. The incident fractured her already fragile marriage and painted her as desperate, lonely, and vulnerable in the public eye. While some fans criticized her, many sympathized.
They saw a woman starved for affection, grasping for the connection she couldn't find at home. From there, the distance between Meri and Kody grew wider. By the time the family moved to Flagstaff, the marriage was little more than a title. Kody himself admitted he no longer felt romantic love for Meri. TLC cameras captured painful conversations where Meri begged for scraps of affection while Kody openly dismissed her. It was excruciating to watch, and yet Meri stayed. Until she didn't. The breakaway. When Meri finally confirmed the end of her marriage to Kody, fans were relieved but skeptical. Would she ever truly break free from the Brown orbit? Or would she cling to the familiar even if it meant continuing to suffer? Meri surprised everyone. She leaned into her independence, taking control of her businesses, pouring energy into her bed and breakfast in Utah, and traveling frequently. She began appearing more confident on social media, dropping cryptic quotes about strength, self-worth, and choosing joy. The woman who once seemed trapped now looked like she was unlocking the door. Still, fans wondered, would she ever trust love again? The answer, it turns out, was waiting just around the corner. Enter Ron. The first whispers of Ron were quiet. At a casual gathering, Meri posted a photo to Instagram. The attention wasn't on her outfit or location this time. It was on the man beside her. Salt and pepper hair, a broad shoulders, and a smile that seemed to light up not just the photo, but Meri. Fans flooded the comments. Who's that guy? Is this Meri's new man? She looks so happy. At first, Meri dodged the speculation, but then during a live stream, she slipped. I wouldn't say I'm dating exactly. I'm just spending time with someone who makes me laugh. That was all fans needed. The name Ron surfaced soon after, reportedly from a friend who let it slip in a private group. Suddenly, Ron was everywhere, though Meri herself remained coy.
Who is Ron, really? While Meri guards her private life closely, here's what has leaked about Ron so far. He's not from reality TV. Unlike Kody, whose life has been defined by cameras, Ron lives outside the spotlight. He's said to be a businessman with ties in both Utah and Arizona. He's single-mindedly private. Friends claim he has no interest in fame and has even resisted appearing in Meri's social media posts. He's funny. The word that keeps coming up from those who know him is warm. He reportedly has a natural sense of humor, which has been key in helping Meri rediscover laughter. He's grounded. No chaos, no plural marriage, no tangled family web. Just a man with his feet on the ground and his heart in the right place. One insider summed it up as, Ron doesn't see Meri as a sister wife. He sees her as Meri. That's the difference. Meri's glow up. Fans didn't need official confirmation to know something had changed. Meri's demeanor online shifted dramatically. She began sharing photos from hikes, dinner outings, and business trips where she radiated confidence. She wore brighter colors, bolder patterns, and carried herself with a posture that screamed, "I'm happy, finally." Gone were the cryptic quotes about heartbreak. In their place, phrases like "choose joy" and "new beginnings." It was as if Ron had reminded her of something she'd forgotten, her worth. Fan reactions. The Sister Wives fandom has always been fiercely protective of Meri. On Reddit, one user wrote, "I don't care who Ron is. All I care about is that Meri looks like she's smiling for real for the first time in years." Another added, "She deserves this so much. Watching her cry season after season was brutal. Seeing her happy now makes me emotional." Of course, some fans remain cautious. After the catfishing debacle, they fear Meri might be vulnerable, but the majority sentiment is clear. If Ron treats her well, he's already a hero in their eyes. How the Browns reacted. The ripple effect of Ron's arrival can't be ignored. Christine, ecstatic. Having found happiness with David Woolley, Christine has openly encouraged Meri to seek joy too. She's reportedly supportive and even eager to meet Ron. Janelle, respectfully quiet. Practical as ever, Janelle has voiced support for Meri's independence without weighing in too heavily on her personal life. Robyn and Kody, tense silence. Sources say the news of Ron caught them off guard. Kody in particular is said to have bristled at the idea of Meri finding happiness outside of him. TLC insiders hint that the producers are already wondering how Ron's presence might shift the show's dynamic.
TLC's dilemma. Speaking of producers, Ron has put Sister Wives in an awkward spot. For years, Meri's storyline has been about her loneliness, her strained marriage, and her desperate attempts to cling to a relationship that no longer existed. It was heartbreaking, but it was also ratings gold. Now with Ron, that narrative is gone. Do they introduce Ron into the show, risking his privacy but fueling fan interest? Or do they let Meri's story fade quietly, leaving fans frustrated? Some believe TLC might pursue a spin-off, something focused on Meri's new life, similar to how Christine's wedding with David Woolley was heavily featured. After all, audiences love a redemption arc, and Meri's new romance is exactly that.